Today we're going to make chicken and dumplings. I love this recipe. It is perfect for cool weather. Here are all the ingredients. Let's get into it right now. I always like to go over the ingredients. It helps me, but it's about helping you. And something like this, I really recommend you get everything out in front of you because there's a soup portion, like the chicken seared and the soup portion, and then there's the dumpling portion. We'll go over the soup ingredients first. So I have 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. We're gonna season with salt and pepper, sear them up, chop it up, the chicken. Then we will saute carrot, celery, and onion in 5 tablespoons of butter. I have 2 large carrots that I diced, 2 celery ribs, and 1 medium onion. These amounts don't have to be exact. All right, we'll do that in, again, 5 tablespoons of butter. Then we'll do 5 cloves of minced garlic. I will add more flavor to it. We have 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. I know I didn't say that right, whatever. I have 1 tablespoon of chicken base, and I have 5 cups of no sodium or low sodium chicken stock. The 2 of them together is gonna create this really chickeny soup, which is what we're going for because we're making chicken and dumplings, okay? Half a cup of dry white wine. If you can't have white wine, just follow the recipe completely and just omit it. We also have 1 cup of frozen peas. We have 1 cup of heavy cream, 7 tablespoons of flour. That's gonna thicken up our soup somewhat, but it's not gonna be super thick. And then to finish it, after we make our dumplings, green onion and parsley. I also have a teaspoon of dry thyme and a half a teaspoon of dried sage for extra chickeny seasoning, okay? I feel like these 2 dried herbs go really well with all the flavors we have here. That is all for the soup. Okay, and then the dumplings, and I'll go over these amounts with you again when we make them, but we have 2 cups of cake flour. That's gonna make them nice and light, or 260 grams. We have 3/4 cup of milk, or 180 grams. We have 1/4 cup of sour cream, or 60 grams. We have 3 tablespoons of butter, or about 45 grams. We're gonna melt that butter, and that's unsalted butter, but it doesn't matter. You can use salted butter. We'll melt that when we combine it together. We have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half teaspoon fine sea salt, 1 teaspoon onion powder, half teaspoon granulated garlic, half teaspoon dried thyme, half teaspoon dried sage. Can you believe I did it that easily? I only rehearsed it like 17 times before I filmed this. Knife, sharpen. If I do it over here, the ambulance people are gonna say I'm gonna get metal on my cutting board, so we'll do it over here, okay? Just sharpen it really sharp. Your knife should stop on a dime or it should shave your hair from your arm. Boneless, skinless, these are good, pretty good. Can you remove this little bit of fat here if you want? Again, not to keep talking about the ambulance people, but yes, you can if you want to get rid of it, okay? I don't think you really have to do that here. Like this bit right here, if you want, you can get rid of it. What I actually like to do when I get these pieces is I will feel that a little bit because I'm telling you lately this has been happening that there's like bone fragments. These are all done by machine. They're not done by your neighborhood butcher or anything like that. And sometimes like let's see, right there. Yep, that's a little piece right there. But this has been happening all the time now, no matter what brand we buy or anything like that. And this is like considered premium chicken, this brand.
Bell & Evans?
So what I do, again, just feel it like this, make sure everything is all right. Okay, so I have a big Dutch oven here. It's the biggest one I have, it's 7.5, but if you have a bigger one, it's even better. I'm gonna heat it up to about medium. If you have bigger, like the oval ones, because the dumplings, you can't really like stack them, so the more surface area you have, the more dumplings you'll be able to fit. Okay, just a little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons. Let's just get it nice and hot, get that oil shimmering. I pat my chicken dry, but pat it dry again, okay? Just keep patting your chicken dry, just don't stop, okay? Because if it's wet, you won't get the best sear. Salt and pepper on both sides. Okay, and then take your dry chicken. We're probably gonna have to do 2 batches, okay? It's not gonna fit. Like you can try to fit them, but it's not gonna work unless you have one of those really big oval ones, which I'm going to buy. This is a Lodge 7.5 quart Dutch oven. It's a workhorse. It's inexpensive too, about $100. The Le Creuset oval ones are like $400, so big difference. So I'm just gonna let these go for like about 5 minutes per side, just until they get some nice color on both sides. They don't have to be cooked all the way through because they're gonna go back in the soup.
So I know we're gonna chop the chicken up after it's cooked,
Yep.
right, into bite-sized pieces.
Yep.
Could you cut up the chicken into bite-sized pieces when it's raw?
Yes.
And then, so is there any difference?
It's simpler to do it this way to keep it full, because then it's like you don't have to like try to turn like 100 little pieces.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. Sometimes when I'm doing chuck roast, like for a stew, I'll cut it into little pieces.
Yeah.
Fat, grease is going everywhere. I'm trying to not make too much of a mess. And just flip the chicken. It's a little stuck there. That's all right. I'll tell you, no matter how well I heat up a Dutch oven, it always sticks. Like versus a stainless, you just heat it up. You're not supposed to really heat these things up when you don't have oil in them. That's what contributes to the problem of everything sticking. So we want to get really nice and brown like that. About 4 or 5 minutes on the other side. We just want to get this really nice color here. Okay, lots of chicken fat because we're doing chicken thighs. Here's the first 3. The other 3 are in there. Okay, just get them off to the side. Second batch when it's done, and then just let it sit. You don't have to chop it right away. Chop it when it's cool enough to handle. We've got a lot of flavor down there. Let's get in all our vegetables. So that was 1 medium onion that was diced, just a dice or a chop, doesn't matter. 2 large carrots and a couple celery ribs. This is butter, 5 tablespoons. So we have fat already from the chicken. We have fat from the little bit of olive oil. I just put a splash in, but now we got the butter in. Pinch of salt, okay? Maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. That'll help with the water release of our vegetables. So this is butter too. Butter contains some water as well. This will help. We can just scratch the bottom of our pot with a wooden spoon, okay? Flat edge of this wooden spoon, just to remove some of the brown bits that have accumulated. If you feel like you're burning it all, just splash it with some wine, some water, or some stock. But between this butter and the vegetables releasing their liquid, should be all right. You want to let this saute for about 7, 10, maybe 12 minutes on a touch less than medium heat. You regulate your pot, okay? You're cooking on a different burner than I am, etc. Want you to learn how to cook here on this show that we have, not like for you just to follow what I do, because ultimately once you get the hang of everything, like your burner, your heat, you'll become a better cook. Yeah, I'll just show you. See, like the pot, just with my spoon and just the butter. See how it's clean again down here? Like this. All right, so we're just gonna let these cook for about that 10 minutes. So the chicken here, I'm using the same cutting board as before. Does it matter? No, because we're gonna cook it in the pot also, all right? Cut your chicken into kind of bite-sized pieces like this, or any way you like. Vegetables have been going for about 10, 12 minutes. Here is the chicken. Just save the juices from the chicken too. So this was the plate I originally put it in, and I just chopped it and poured it back in this plate. Here are 5 cloves of garlic that is just minced. Okay, and let's let that cook in here for a couple minutes until it gets really fragrant, get nice smell from it. I'm making this video for you right in between a bolognese video. So the bolognese we did a better bolognese, and that one is for Patreon. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be 2 drinks that we're testing in that video, and we're also doing a side dish, a nice asparagus side. But in there, we're gonna test the drinks. Patrons are gonna get to decide which one will, if they like it, will go in the cookbook that we are coming out with before October 2025. All right, that's nice and fragrant now. Since I have an enamel Dutch oven here, we wanna use not a metal whisk, we wanna use something like this. Okay, this is 7 tablespoons of flour. If you did 7 cups, you'd be in a lot of trouble. And this, honestly, this whisk stinks. We're going back to this. Just cook it until the white spots are gone, all right? We're not trying to like get a deep nutty flavor from this or anything, but we wanna make sure that we don't have any floury taste, like overly floury taste. So I'd say about a minute or 2 like this will be more than enough. White wine, if you don't want to use it, just skip this and go right to the stock. That's all you have to do here. I'm going to put in about this much white wine, so my very scientific measurement says about that much. That's cooking. Cooking is not for me to tell you, you need to put in 216 grams of white wine. If you put in 218, your recipe's screwed up. I'm not gonna give you precise gram amounts on wine like that, okay? Look at this, it's turning all into a paste right now. That's all you gotta do. Okay, that wine already evaporated. And now we have our stock. 5 cups of no sodium chicken broth, chicken stock. So I'm just gonna whisk this in. It'll get rid of the lumps. And then I also have 1 tablespoon of this chicken base, okay? It's better than bouillon chicken base. That's gonna really amp up the chicken flavor of this. Let's bring this up to a boil and we'll whisk it and it'll break up and it will all be smooth. Okay, so this is boiling, almost boiling. And then what I'm doing is, once it comes to a boil, again, flat-edged wooden spoon, feel the bottom here. If you feel any rough spots, you just gotta scrape a little bit and you will dislodge any of those delicious brown spots. That's bubbling, it's fine. We can start adding everything else in. That's 1 cup of frozen peas, you know, fresh peas, whatever would be fine. Here's the chicken and the juices, okay? Let's get all of that in there. Lots of flavor. That is our thyme and our dry sage. We have 1 teaspoon dry thyme and a half a teaspoon of dried sage. 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, and then a cup of heavy cream, sorry. And the smell is amazing already. Now look, that chicken's still a little raw on the inside, so that's why we're gonna bring this to a boil, and then we'll simmer for a while before we do our dumplings. So that's boiling now, it's bubbling. Just turn your heat to about medium, okay? Maybe a little bit less. We just wanna simmer, we just want tiny bubbles. That's what simmering means, just tiny bubbles. All right, but we need that chicken to cook in there. You let that go for 15 minutes. So it's been cooking for a while, probably about 20 minutes. I just wanna show you, like, this is the consistency I have right now on my chicken and dumplings. Now look, it's gonna thicken up more when we put the dumplings in. If you don't like it this thick, then I recommend you use another cup or more of chicken stock. That's it. That's what we're looking at here. Let's give it a little taste right now. Let's see how it is. We can season with a little salt and pepper. Just keep in mind that when we add in these very flavorful dumplings, it's gonna add more, and kind of like I like the contrast of like the real punch of the dumpling versus the more subdued soup here. Delicious. I think it can use a little bit of salt because I used no sodium chicken stock, even with that 1 tablespoon of reduced sodium chicken base. I'll put that much in, put a nice amount of pepper in here. Could you put nutmeg in here? Absolutely. Nutmeg always does well in any kind of cream sauce, cream soup, anything like that. All right, let's mix this all, let's get it all distributed. Okay, so 2 cups of cake flour, or about 260 grams. 2 teaspoons baking powder. Half teaspoon fine sea salt, 1 teaspoon onion powder, half teaspoon granulated garlic, half teaspoon dried thyme, half teaspoon dried sage. Okay, a lot of stuff going in there. Just mix it around so it's evenly distributed. 3/4 cup of milk, 1/4 cup of sour cream. You know, when I'm writing the cookbook now, it's gonna be probably everything it's going to be volumetric measurements, obviously, for US people, and then we'll do weight measurements for people not in the US. We want to hear your feedback on it. This is going to be the cookbook, okay? All right, this is, what was this, 3 tablespoons of butter, Tara?
Yes.
Okay, this is unsalted butter. It's melted. I'm just going to gently combine this. Again, very low simmer here. I have the batter right here. I have a bunch of cookie scoops. You can use any type you want, small, large. They're gonna get about double the size when they go in here. We're gonna cook them for about 15 minutes. The batter has a good tendency to stick. So you can put cooking spray on your scooper, or you can dip in water, which is what I'm gonna do here. Just have some water. Okay, just like this. Take it, and then do a test first before you see if it comes out. See that comes out like that? So now it's good. Okay, so again, in water, just go like this. I'll just grab that same one, okay? And then like this, right in there. Try to do them fast, okay? Because we're gonna cover it. Now, I recommend you keep these a little bit spaced. If you put them super close together, because they expand, you'll have just like a whole dumpling layer, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but Now look, if you want a lot more dumplings, which I think I do, just whip up another batch. It's like the simplest thing you can do. So look, just try to separate them a little bit if you can. Cover with the lid like that for about 12 to 15 minutes. And you know, how do you know if they're done? You just have to check one. You just have to test it. You don't have to have this heat really high right here. This is about a 3 out of 10. Just a very low simmer, that's it. So listen, I want to show you something. So they've been cooking for probably 15 minutes, but they're not done yet. You can see them here. Like I just spooned some over, like some of the soup over the top because they're a little too soft still on there. So just take a little bit more of the broth, just like that, on top of them. And then you can see them like how big they've gotten. So that's why I told you, keep some space because you know, you basically will fill up the whole pot. Now, look, the easiest way to tell if they're done is just take one out, take a little bite. That's Tara's clock going off right now. So we probably cooked them about 15 minutes total.
Yeah.
On a very low simmer. They probably need another 5 minutes, and that's what I'm gonna give them before I even test them, because I could just tell by, you know, it's a little soft, little doughy on top there. So you can even just like cover it completely. We'll check in 5 more minutes. I think part of the reason why these are taking so long is because I made them bigger, but I love them like that. Now, I'm pretty sure they're done now, but we will just check by cutting one open. Too doughy, right?
Yeah, they're a little doughy. I think because you used a smaller cookie scoop last time.
Yeah, use a small, so like I'm gonna show you, see the inside there? All right, putting it right back. I'm gonna cook these another 5 minutes.
The flavor is just
delicious, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they're super tender, but they just need to cook longer. That's why like you'll find recipes that'll be like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Just cook them until they're done. That's all you have to do here. And they're not done yet, okay? I'm just gonna cover that, give it another 5, maybe 7 minutes, and I think they'll be set. And then we will bring the taste tester down. James, you are back for probably the best chicken and dumplings you've ever had. Now, I know you're a big chicken and dumplings connoisseur, like I am.
Really?
No, not really. We live in the Northeast. This is not very common.
Where's chicken and dumplings from?
The South.
Chicken and dumplings is one of the most like comforting foods ever. It's so good. Everybody knows if you watch channel, you know that my new ranking system is like a little tougher. So I only give 10 out of 10s to like the best things and 9 out of 10s to like really good things.
Before you give the rating, what is good about it and what's bad about it?
It's just like, there's nothing bad about it. It's such like comforting to eat. The dumplings are so good. The broth and like, I love peas and carrots and chicken. The flavor is amazing.
Okay, what's bad about it?
Nothing.
Okay, listen, I was tasting this and I agree with you too.
And
I think this might be one of the best dishes I've ever made.
And the green onions are so good. I love green onions.
They think I browbeat you all the time. They think I did that before you got on here.
It's not. This is a 10 out of 10.
I knew it. Nice. Is there anything I can make it better?
No.
I knew it. I knew it.
I'm gonna finish this.
Okay, you can finish this. Always appreciate you watching, each and every one of you, and we will see you next time.